Folks, welcome back to another Nostalgianomics Live. Guys, I have been asked repeatedly over the last couple weeks, Alex, we love the guests. Don't get us wrong, we love the guests, but we'd love for you to do one of the old-fashioned Alex streams, Q&As, all that good stuff. And so here I am, guys. That's what we're doing today. I figure we just take a week off. Take a week off from having a guest on. Just you guys and me, and we'll just talk it out. You can ask any questions you guys want. I'll try to give you some good answers. We can dive in depth to any combo regarding the market. If I don't have the answer, I'll just tell you. I don't flat out have the answer. But otherwise, I'll try to help in any way I can with any kind of questions anybody has. And yeah, just kind of enjoy a Friday afternoon. Have a good time. I have to shout out. I have to shill for myself. Biggest shill right here. Shill. Pack break tomorrow is going to be the largest pack break we've ever had on the channel. 1,000 random packs, 25 PSA 10 cards. The average value of the cards is somewhere in the I think $200 to $300 range. There's really not a bad slab you can win. So multiple, $400 or $500 slabs you can go home with. So tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Central. Make sure you're there for that. The packs are already on sale. Nostalgianomics.com. Okay, let's go ahead and see how everybody's doing. Oh, Alejandro's in the chat. We got Dranix, Duke King, Boss Trainer. What's up? The Servant of the Gods. Old Man Dirt. We got Magikarp Enjoyer. Chalky Milk. What's up, dude? Coolest Shive. JSS Cards. How you doing? Chris Dorn, and we got Gavin. Caleb, what's up, dude? BKS, how you doing? Kyler's in the chat. What's up, Kyler? Sold all my prismatic ETBs. Ricky, ouch. Ouch. Picking up my first fusion box today. Hey, getting hands on a fusion. I love it. All right, we already have a question. Alex, have you seen the recent Anon video? Why would I ever watch an Anon video, first off? He's suggesting Scarlet Violet is over after Black and White. What are your thoughts? Yeah, so he's not suggesting that. He's repeating what a Pokey Beach article, I don't even think suggested. I think they claimed that from what I can remember. But yeah, apparently this last Black and White set is going to be it for Scarlet Violet Era. I don't know that. I'm not claiming that. That's what apparently the Pokey Beach article said, and Anon, obviously. I don't know. Possibly. Here's the thing, guys. I don't concern myself with all that stuff. Like, I know a lot of people that they just they really get in depth and they want to know everything going on. I don't care, right? Whether they print Sword and Shield in front of a card or Scarlet Violet in front of a card or some new era, it's meaningless, right? It's just another set. Also, I've talked about it before. If you cannot take any actionable steps to change anything, why care? I can't pre-order it yet, right? We don't know what it is. We don't know the cards. We can't do anything. Why are we even talking about it? Destin Rivals isn't even out yet. Black and White is months away. Why are we even worried about what's after that? Just, guys, slow down. Do what you can with what we have. We'll worry about the future when it gets here. That is my take on that. I think everybody needs to slow down a little bit. Just slow down. Cool the afterburners there, Kimosabi. Thoughts on SV sets pumping next? Need to accumulate more Paldea before runs further. Yeah, so I'm a big fan of Paldea. I do think it's going to be a $300 plus box. I'm a big fan of accumulating the early sets, especially 1 through 4, including 151. Alex, I heard they're going to print more 151. They probably are. It's not going to be enough. Look, same thing that happened with Crown Zenith. They're going to print it. But here's the thing. 151 is almost 2 years old. Paldea reaches its 2-year mark next month. Literally next month. And then it'll be Obsidian, then 151. So 151 is going to be 2 years old this year. They have umpteenth other sets to reprint and print new sets. And it's good. In my opinion, 151 is going to be probably still one of the best pickups. I think it's going to be like Crown Zenith. One day, Crown Zenith was $5 a pack. You blinked, and then 2 months went by, and it was $10 a pack. In my opinion, 151 is going to be the same way. It's, whatever, $10, $11, $12 a pack. You're going to blink, and then it's going to be $20 a pack before you know it. And so, yeah, I don't think I think the early sets in Scarlet Violet are great. The later ones, it's a little more risky, but they can't print it all, and they can't print enough of it all to crash things. Market's so strong. The economy's roaring back. I'm bullish. I'm bullish. I'm buying. I'm holding. But I'm a shill. I'm just a shill that shills my viewers and creates FOMO, as you guys, I'm sure, hear all throughout the online YouTube's world. But hey, in the end, I've had the last laugh many, many times in this hobby where I've been, ridiculed and criticized for my takes. And all I can say is 1 to 2 years from now, we'll come back and we'll revisit all these videos from this time, and we'll see where everything's at. And hey, maybe I'll be wrong. Likely I will not. Question: why does it take so long for people to realize that sealed is the ultimate investment? I don't know. I don't know. Thanks for everything you do, brother. The most consistent dude on YouTube space. I appreciate it, man. Johnny, I truly don't know, dude. Here's the thing. If you showed somebody a company on Wall Street or a fund or even a cryptocurrency now that was 10 years old, right? Which I know Pokemon's almost 30, but I would say since I got back in the hobby, it's been 10 years. Modern times with, the new print run sizes and the new social media age. We've had 10 years since XY, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, and now Scarlet Violet. 10 years, okay? If you would show somebody 10 years of track record data on any mutual fund, index fund, a stock, a cryptocurrency, a real estate, a house, everyone would be like, oh yeah, that's enough data. I trust the numbers. I'm buying. But when it comes to Pokemon, it's all different. Oh no, those 10 years of data mean nothing, Alex. And I just think I don't know. It seems like coping in my opinion, but who knows? Who knows? I'm bullish. You guys know my point of view. It's no secret. Ridicule me for it. We'll see how it all turns out. Alex, have you heard from Otherverse? I have not heard from Sam. Sam, if you are in the chat, dude, speak up, brother. Say what's up, Sam from Otherverse. I haven't. The site, you said the site is down? Let me pull it up over here. Let me see what you're talking about. The site is down. Wow. It does say that connection is not private. Huh. That's interesting to hear. Yeah, I'll have to reach out to Sam and just catch up with them and ask him what's going on with that. Appreciate you. I hope everything's all right. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes, you let a domain expire or something stupid. So it could just be something stupid like that. You didn't pay your website hosting bill. Like those things happen. They'll take it down until it's paid, but who knows? We'll see. We'll see. Ready to offload a bunch of Fusion Strike. I bought 4x my investment. Problem is the market I have nowhere to put the gains. Yeah, that's the thing. Like you sell, and then where do you put the money right now? I get it. Jess, how you doing? Welcome in. You should allow some long-term subs who have applied what you said in your videos to silence the drama hater channels. Yeah, it's there's no reason to silence them though, because no matter what you say or do or show, they'll just keep kicking the can down the road. Just wait, it's all Armageddon's around the corner. Alex is trying to shill his viewers, and then what happens is, here's what happens every time. This happened to me when I started my channel 3 years ago. Everyone criticized me, right? Everyone talked all kinds of shit. What happened was all the time went by. 90% of the things I said all came true. Modern's boom and everything I said to put your money into, vintage, all that stuff. No one comes back and says you were right. No one comes back and apologizes. No one comes back and said they were wrong. And so even when you're right, they're not going to admit it, right? All they're going to do is move on to something else, criticize you somewhere else. So it's like, that's why I stopped playing into it. You can't play into the insanity. It's either they're right, or if they're wrong, they're going to complain about why they're wrong, right? It's like the whole prismatic thing. I took so much heat for Prismatic Evolutions and the reprints and all that stuff, and look where it is, right where I said it would be, somewhere between 100 to 120. And now people aren't they're not disagreeing. Now they're criticizing Pokemon. Well, they should print more. They need to drop more. They can't keep the price this high. It's double MSRP. It's just like, I tried telling you guys this is how it's going to be. And, but you can't talk sense into people. Once people have their one-track minds made up, it's over. You've lost them. You got to move on to people who actually want to learn. That's all it is. That's all it comes down to. There has been a metric ton talk about Sword and Shield taking off, obviously. All sets talked about, but not one mentioned Darkness Ablaze, and I have kind of heard kind of weird. Darkness Ablaze is such a weak set. I'm not saying it won't go up, but in my opinion, there's going to be other sets that rise so much more exponentially in percentage gain. And so, here's kind of like the fallacy people lean into is, they'll say, Alex, Battle Styles is 200 a box. I told you it would go up. And it's like, okay, well, it went up, 20% when every other set's running like 30, 40, 50% in the same time frame. It's like, no one's saying the bad sets won't do well. It's just the only way bad sets really have exponential gains is when they're scarce. They never got a reprint. Things like Sword and Shield base, Rebel Clash, going back to Sun and Moon, like Dragon Majesty. They're really high because they never got a reprint. The product is so short supplied. But Darkness Ablaze got reprints. There's a lot of it out there, and it's a weak set. I'm not a fan, man. Not that you won't do well. You'll make money. Don't get me wrong. It'll rise. It's just there's better places. I am going to do more streams with retro specs. Absolutely. We are going to have retro back on. So for sure. Thank you for shouting out retro. That will be a thing in the future. Journey Together in 5 years. Be a mid-range set. It'll be performing similar to what we see with all the mid-range Sword and Shield sets. It'll be along the lines of the Brilliant Stars, Chilling Reigns, things like that. I think it's definitely not it's not a terrible set. It's not the top sets. The top sets are going to be Prismatic, 151, Surging Sparks, Paldea Evolved, probably Destin Rivals, like things like that. But it's definitely not going to be an SV base, right? I don't think it's as weak as Obsidian Flames, Stellar Crown. I think it's better than those. And so I think it'll be somewhere in the middle. In the long term, will people remember Scarlet Violet Era like Sword and Shield? Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, 151 is iconic. That is such an iconic set. I don't care if we're 10 generations in the future. People will always remember and want to rip 151. Prismatic Evolutions. It has the highest dollar pack out of anything, unless you pull maybe like a gold star in mid-era, maybe like a crystal or a shining, even some of those cards. A lot of those cards aren't even as valuable as a God pack. The God pack has one of the highest values in the entire Pokemon hobby that you can open. Not the highest. There's first edition base Charizards. Like I said, there's gold stars that are worth more raw, but it is one of the highest valued packs in the entire existence of Pokemon. If you don't think that is always going to be a massive chase, you're out of your mind. I can't keep Prismatic Evolutions in stock. Every time I get 1,000 of those packs in, they sell out in a matter of like a week, if not less. Even at the price points they're at. Could you imagine if it was half the price? I mean, could you imagine a Prismatic pack was as much as like a Paldea Evolve pack or a Scarlet Violet base pack? It would go so fast, the market would have no choice but to raise the price again because it wouldn't be any left. And so, I think a lot of this Scarlet Violet era, it's got things other eras don't. Other eras have things it doesn't, right? But I think it's going to do very well. Same thing as always. There's going to be certain cards that stand the test of time. There's going to be certain sets that stand the test of time. Some sets are going to just be low performers, fall by the wayside. And that's how it always ends up. But as long as you have a good position across it all, you're going to have a good average and you're going to do well. How do I deal with temptation of opening product? Very easy. I rip packs on stream about 25 to 30 hours a week. Very simple. I rip like 5,000 to 6,000 packs a week. That's how I do. Actually, it's probably more these days. It's probably closer to like 6,000 to 8,000 packs a week, the way the streams are going. So that's how I do it. Hawk Lugia, what's up, dude? Bought Evolving Skies booster box for $15.50 with all the Sword and Shield moves. It has to go up. I mean, hey, man, I don't see it not going up. Where's Eli? Eli is, I believe, on vacation right now. Would you sell or keep the Pokemon Center stamp 151 Squirtle if you have two? I mean, if you don't have anywhere else to put the money that you've seen things going to do better, keep it. It's not a huge deal either way, right? I mean, if you really want one for your collection, keep it. Question! Exclamation points. Why do you think there is such a disconnect from Facebook Timmy's versus the card shows and what's actually being sold? All right, guys, I'm gonna explain this to you right now. And look, you guys know me. I don't pull punches. Some of the things I say are hard to hear. It's why I get clipped and taken out of context, and people get upset at the things I say because it's not the popular opinion. So, just like in life, right? There are very few successful people, very few billionaires, very few millionaires, very few successful, like really successful, investors, entrepreneurs, just people in life in general. And the majority of people fall in either the middle class or the lower class. And one thing all those people have in common is they always have a scarcity of resources, right? And they always have similar mindsets. Little guy can't get ahead. Things are unfair. Everything's corrupt. Negative about everything. There's always going to be a crash. There's always going to be an Armageddon. It's easier to sit around and complain on your couch, eating a Papa John's pizza from DoorDash, watching some trash TV than it is to actually apply yourself and try to get ahead in life, better your career, better your position. No one wants to do that, right? You see the same ratios online. And that's why I always tell people, my goal is to not grow the biggest channel, right? I'm not going to have the most subscribers. I'm not going to get the most views. And people say, well, Alex, why you're just saying that because no. I'm literally telling you that because the majority of people are not going to resonate with my content, right? They don't want to put in extra work. They don't want to take financial risks with their money. They don't want to, try to get ahead. They'd rather stay in the position they're at, sit there and complain online, get upset at people that are, have the things they want because they're unwilling to do the things that they're doing to get those things they want. And that's why you see the majority of people online as just complainers, because the majority of people online, well, unfortunately, they fall into that category. And so that's why, the people that you see out in public, they're the ones that are enjoying the hobby. People that you see in, investment market business groups, they're the ones that are actually trying to get ahead, better themselves, better their families' lives. And, the channels that just promote trash or drama or just do anything to get clicks or pander to the audience of whatever the flavor of the week is. Right now, the flavor of the week is complaining about products being too expensive, complaining about distributors, complaining about scalpers. In a year, there'll be some other flavor of the week where those content creators will shift to, and they'll complain about that. There's always something to complain about. And that draws in the views. That draws in the majority of the population, because the majority of the population, well, they're just complainers. And so that's the truth, man. That's why online you're going to get a very warped view, because you have to think about it. Who has the majority of time to go around online commenting on all these things, all these different, platforms, all these Reddit posts? Who has the time to actually take time out of their day to tell someone something negative every single day and go to anyone that's doing well or that's, succeeding in life and trying to tear them down? Who's got the time to do that? People who have way too much time on their hands, right? That are probably aren't doing well or are unhappy themselves and don't want to put in any effort or take any risk to get themselves ahead to do the same thing, which, by the way, is entirely possible. You're being lied to if you think it's not possible to get ahead. So that's my long-winded take. I'm sure things like that always get clipped and taken out of context, but that's my take on it. Question: have you had more fun in Pokemon as a collector or a full-time business? Me myself as a business, because I'm a hybrid. I love the cards. Right? If I had my way, I'd own them all. But I also love business. I love investing. It's kind of like playing a game, right? Like at a certain point, when you're making enough to pay your bills and you got money in the bank, you got investments, you got investment in Pokemon, the stock market, now my house is paid off. It's more like playing a game. You're trying to grow your business, trying to grow your numbers. You're trying to, predict where things are going to go, and you're putting your money to work predicting. And, if you're wrong, it hurts. You lose a little bit and you're mad you're wrong, but it's fun for me playing with finances, playing with numbers, investing, running a business, trying to find new ways to innovate and do things other people aren't doing and see how it works out and then test things. That's fun for me. That's just as fun for me as trying to collect things. And so for me, I'm having more fun But for other people that are like really hardcore collectors and they're not really business types, but they kind of want to do their hobby as a business, to them, it may not be as fun. For me, it's fun though. I love this. I love this game, guys. I'm for it. If I'm having to spend, I love this. I love Kyler, guys. If I'm having to spend, he has to. He's got to spend it on Scarlet Violet boxes. Should I go up to 100 plus and buy Sword and Shield boxes instead? It depends. It depends. Here's the thing, guys. This hobby's funny. It'll really play with your head. Right now, the limelight is on Sword and Shield. So the thing everyone wants to do is jump on the Sword and Shield bandwagon, right? The thing is, there will come a time when the spotlight shines on Scarlet Violet Era. And then all those boxes are going to be pumping, and Sword and Shield is going to be stagnant for a period of time. And then you're going to look like a genius. And so what happens when these markets shift is, especially all the emotional people, they like to come out and say, look, you should have put your money in Sword and Shield. You'd be doing better. And then what happens is, like, Scarlet Violet will run, say Paldea runs from 250 to 350. Everyone will be like, see, you should have put your money in Scarlet Violet and Paldea Evolved or 151. And it's like, look, there's going to be goods and bads in both. There's going to be different seasons for each one to move. In my opinion, there's definitely some Sword and Shield boxes that make more sense. There's definitely some Scarlet Violet boxes that make more sense. What I mean is, it's entirely possible that either one of these becomes true. Maybe Silver Tempest outperforms Paldea. Maybe Paldea Evolved outperforms Silver Tempest in the same year, 2 years, 3 years time frame. We don't know, right? And so like you have to ask yourself what you think is more likely. For me, I still think there's multiple Scarlet Violet sets I'd rather buy at these prices, especially the earlier ones, than some of these Sword and Shield sets after they've already ran up to the prices they're at right now. So it just depends, man. I'm a little for each. A little for each. But just remember, everything moves at different times, and you could be right one day but wrong the next, if that makes sense. Thoughts on 151 singles? Do you think they'll rise back in the future? Yeah, I think the main ones will rise. I think once things kind of get out of print, people realize that we're not getting anymore, and the packs and boxes start to rise, the singles will probably follow to an extent. Temporal Forces at current prices? It's possible. It's possible. I think there are rumors. There are starting to be rumors of more Temporal Forces coming. You know how I feel about all these reprint things. I don't believe it till I see it. I don't care who says what, this email there, this distributor said this. I don't care, because the fact is, until we get the product and the distributors actually have it, or the big box stores actually have it, and until we know how much it was, and until we know what products it is it booster boxes? Is it bundles? Is it ETBs? Is it just collection boxes? It doesn't matter. And so, it could there be a better chance to pick up in the future? Maybe. But then you're just playing the game with timing, and you know how I feel. I don't really time things. A good pickups on a budget that is under booster boxes, probably bundles. Tube Cat, probably bundles. Bundles is probably gonna be your best bet, in my opinion, for long term. I'd stay away from the auxiliary items, the ancillary items, people will call them, like the collection boxes, tins, mini tins, all that junk. If you can't afford booster boxes, I would just go to bundles. I think bundles are going to be the next most liquid thing. How long before the next Gape Jaw Bog? Oh, man, an eternity. It's the rarest card in the hobby. Never gets pulled. I've pulled multiple Lugias and only one Gape Jaw Bog. Silver Tempest, man. I've almost paid off my house because of you. F the haters. Numbers are numbers. BKS. That is incredible. I love it. I did the same thing. Paid for my house with Pokemon cards. With investing in Pokemon. Yes, by putting a child's card game in the closet, letting it age, and then selling it for a profit in the future. That's what's possible in this hobby. So congratulations. You're doing it too, man. Questions. What does a bear market in Pokemon cards look like? Some people that are new or have never experienced one, should I be scared of it? A bear market in Pokemon. So the singles and slabs usually get hit the hardest. Sometimes anywhere from like 30 to 50%. The sealed product usually doesn't get hit very hard. In extreme I say extreme circumstances, 20 to 30%. That's extreme. Normal circumstances, 10, 15, maybe even nothing, just stagnant, low liquidity stagnation on sealed product. And so, these people that always like say everything's going to zero, wait for the crash, guys, even during the 2021 to 2022 crash after COVID, Evolutions was like the biggest drop I remember, from $1,000 to $700 a box. Meanwhile, remember, it did run up from $80 a box to $1,000 in like a year's time. And then it crashed to 700 and stayed there. And now it's back to all-time highs. That was it. The other boxes in Sun and Moon and XY, they cooled off. The sales volume slowed. They dropped 5, 10, 15% on average. Not much happened. And so, no, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's just this fear mongering. I actually filmed a video today that I'm going to release tomorrow. Make sure you check it out. It's going to be released tomorrow morning. But it has to do with that. It's like, I don't want to kind of like spoil the whole video, but there's this big like us versus them mentality right now. And to all the smaller YouTubers credits, right? Even larger ones, much larger ones than I am. They're really kind of pandering to the audience too, trying to gobble up all the views. There's this big us versus them thing. Like anyone that's talking favorably of their collectibles having value and the price points, you're all shills. We're all creating FOMO. All this stuff, and we're for the people, right? All the people talking, the people making the content, they're all for the people. Anyone like me are just evil shills and business owners and all that. And the truth is, guys, will there be some of these items that end up getting reprints that you can pick up cheaper? Will you maybe be able to find Prismatic cheaper at some point? Maybe. Will there be another reprint or restock of 151? Maybe. Will some of these newer sets get reprinted? Sure. Will some of the new sets in the future end up getting released under MSRP? Absolutely. Absolutely. But this idea that people are, starting to like get behind, like all this Scarlet Violet era, it's all going to cool off. It's all going to come down. It's all going to get printed to the ground. It's not. It's not. A lot of these sets are getting too old. You're starting to see these sets hit their 2-year mark. They've already reprinted some of them. We haven't seen a lot of sets in Pokemon get 2 and 3 reprints. A lot of them get 1. Some get 2. Very few ever get 3. A lot of these sets have had 1, some 2 reprints already. It's people hate to hear it, but the market's too strong to let them drop that far. And so for me to say that, I'm immediately a shill, creating FOMO. I'm not for the people. And, because of that, again, I'm not going to get the highest view numbers because I'm not giving the people, the mob, what they want. I'm not throwing the free loaves of bread to the mob in the crowds of the Coliseum at Rome right now, right? I'm not pandering to the mob. And so because of that, I get a lot of hate. But like I said, time tells all. In another 6 months, year and a half, we'll revisit all these videos and we'll see how everything turned out. And so in my opinion, I still hold by this. If you were to buy every single Scarlet Violet set, 1 booster box or 1 case of every single set right now, my belief is in a year from now, probably 80 to 90% of them are all going to be higher than they are right now. Maybe Prismatic comes down for another reprint. Maybe Surging gets another reprint. Maybe Journey keeps dropping because it's a little weaker of a set than people thought. Whatever. Most of these sets, they're not coming back down. I'm sorry to tell you that. It's just the way it is. The market has already spoken. That is my take on that. Sun and Moon Tag Team. Why would you say is a good value buy right now, despite its bottom in price recently, and can confidently see it go up more in the future? Sun and Moon Tag Team. Do you mean team up? Crunchy, I'm not sure what you're referring to. I think most of the Sun and Moon boxes are at all-time highs. If you're talking about Japanese, I do not mess with the Japanese market in terms of investing, so I couldn't tell you on that. Are you worried about technology? No, I'm not worried about... Guys, all of this stuff has been around forever. Pokemon Boulevard, not sure if you're new or not. People have been saying all this crazy stuff forever. At first it was the weighing, then it was the scanners, then it's the pipe detectors, then it's always something new every single year. Every time people make a big deal and everything's going to crash, sealed investing's worthless. It's just not a thing. It's just not a thing. I know people want it to be a thing, but it's just not. So no, it doesn't bother me at all. It's already been years since people said it was going to crash from the first technology thing years ago. And so, yeah, I remember people dumping their boxes like a couple of years ago for they were scared about, all that kind of stuff. It's just, it's funny. It's laughable. I think you've been spot on. It's funny how people who don't have distribution have opinions they present as fact as if they know how markets work. Then again, we get called scalpers every day. Yeah, I mean, you know what it reminds me of? And this isn't to get political, right? But it's like when the woke thing was getting really, really, massive, and it was just common to call anyone that supported, like, if you supported like a candidate, people would like just throw like insults at you, like, "Well, you're a sexist." It's like, what does that even mean? Like, and that's kind of how I feel what this is right now. It's like people just hurl these insults and think it means something. Like, "Well, you're a scalper. You're a shill." It's like, okay, yeah, yep, okay. And it's just like you can't reason with these kind of people. You can't have conversations. They have their minds made up. If you're for your collectibles having value, you're evil, and you're not going to change people's minds. And so, you can't waste your words on them. You can only help people that actually want to be helped and want to learn. And that's what I've decided to do. I just let them go, let them do their thing. Call me all the names in the book. I don't care. I've been in this hobby long enough. I've seen multiple market cycles, been successful in every single one of them. At this point, like, other than a massive worldwide economic collapse, world war, something like that, it's going to continue the same pattern it always has, guys. It just is. Collectibles, TCGs are going nowhere anytime soon. Do I know what's going to happen in 50 years? No. Do I have a pretty good idea what's going to happen in 10 years? I do. Would you consider to have a spotlight vid or live stream where you invite subs on your followers on your channel so people can see oh yeah, you already asked that. Yeah, I can do that in the future, man. Sorry, man. Yeah, I already saw that. Do you have any plans to bring back those two investment gentlemen who had on for a live stream a few months ago? That was a great informative video. Dude, I'll definitely have Steve back on. I still talk to Steve pretty regularly. But dude, Amit has blown up. I love to have him back on if he's got time at this point. I don't even know if he'd want to. That guy he's on like CNBC live shows. He's on like Bloomberg. He's getting flown out to like shareholder stuff. That dude is blown up all around that, just covering the markets, Palantir. No joke. I kid you not. True story. When the tariffs were going on and they were like, we were following Trump's, press conferences and stuff, there were more people on Amit's stream watching live than the YouTube was it CNBC or one of the actual news channels, YouTube channels? There was more on his channel live viewing. It was like thousands of people watching him over the actual news channel. So yeah, man, I'd love to have him back on if he'd do me the pleasure, but we'll see, man. We'll see. But Steve, yeah, I'll definitely have Steve back on. Yeah, that was a fun time. Yo, why is Plumber talking ish on you? You can't get over it. Look, Plumber is showing his true colors, right? When I started talking to that guy, he reached out to me. It was, I don't know, year and a half ago, maybe. He would do nothing but ask me questions about investing, right? And then as we got more friendly, we would have, talks and, we'd go back and forth. And sometimes he'd be bullish. Sometimes I'd be bearish. Sometimes he'd be for Sword and Shield. Sometimes I'd be for SV. And it's like, we'd have daily conversations, guys. And so, yeah, I did see the clip. I think you're talking about, trying to take credit for things, dude. I really don't care. Like, if that is the brand and image he wants to promote, obviously tying himself to Cool Trainer Ryan and all that, it obviously tells you the, kind of company he keeps, kind of tells you a lot about the individual. But yeah, man, I got no hate in my heart. I obviously I can't be associated with all that. Also, obviously, I'm not going to be played out. We already went through all the things that happened with that, with him, ghosting me and all that stuff. So I just kind of turn a blind eye at this point. I let him do his thing. I'm not going to talk trash about him, but hey, let him make all the content that he wants, that thinks he's going to get, YouTube famous off of, or whatever his goals are. But my goal is to not continue drama with Pokey Plumber. That's his prerogative. That's my take. Selling Pokemon in terms of taxes. So selling within 1 year, 3 to 5 years, 5+ years. So, Caleb, it really depends on if you're just a single person buying and selling later. It'll have to do with like short-term and long-term capital gains taxes. If you're a business, it's a lot different because you can choose to be on accrual basis or cash basis accounting, whereas both those methods have very different benefits and weaknesses. And so I can tell you from a business standpoint, there's a lot better ways to go about your, lowering your tax bill than it is to just be a single person, just like collecting Pokemon and selling it later. But I do recommend to always claim all of your buys and sells and always pay taxes. Like I am like so against tax evasion. And I'm not just saying this to like protect myself. I claim everything, guys. I claim my PayPal friends and family. I claim my Venmo friends and family. I claim it all because my take is there are way too many legal ways to reduce your tax bill if you have a good accountant and you know what you're freaking doing than trying to like skirt around the system and dodge taxes, right? There's too many legal ways to operate efficiently and you still pay very little taxes and run a successful business and all that than it is to try to like, get one over in the IRS and cross your fingers and hope you get through your whole life without them catching you. So if I were you, I would look into getting an LLC started and talk to an accountant and understand how you can offset those tax bills when the time comes. That's my take on taxes. I can't get any deeper into it because I'm not licensed. I can't really give it tax advice. That's basically as vague as I can be with it. Alex, I used to run a football card breaks. Want to get back into Pokemon from a money standpoint. Like, how does business side work? Breaks, selling single, sealed, etc. Works like anything else. If you've done football cards, what do you mean, dude? I mean, Colin, if you've done football breaks, it's got to be the same way. I mean, you find a way to source product, buy in bulk, work deals, try to get a little under market. And then, you can try to make obviously all these businesses are usually very small profit margins. And if you do enough volume, then you can do pretty good. But there's no way to get around the work. It all takes work. You're going to have to put in the work to source. You're going to put in the work, on the screen. You're going to have to put in the work behind the scenes to source and ship and all that good stuff. Put in the work to build a following. Maybe you got to, do advertising in the beginning. There's no shortcut. But yeah, you can be successful if, here's the thing. What I always tell people, if there's somebody out there right now doing what you want to do that is successful, you can do it, right? Now, everyone I know in this business didn't take shortcuts. They didn't cheat anyone. They didn't steal. They didn't get lucky. They just worked at it and they stayed consistent. And, some obviously did better than others based on, their abilities or the amount of effort they wanted to put in. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of my advice to you. If a big economic downturn happens, Pokemon goes bye-bye. That's the scary part of it. When you could have invested into something that's a necessity. Well, if an economic downturn happens, wouldn't that mean everything would downturn? So wouldn't you lose money in crypto, stocks, everything? Business, if you owned a business, like wouldn't that mean the same thing, Travis? I'm confused because we've had multiple downturns in the hobby or in the markets, and the hobby was actually less affected. So the only problem with that is the data doesn't support it. And so for me, I don't deal in hypotheticals. I deal in data, and there's no data that supports that. And so here's what you have to ask yourself. Is that possible? Anything in life is possible. But when you put money to work and you make plans for the future, you have to operate on the most likely outcome. And the most likely outcome tells me that won't happen and things will remain pretty much the same. Humans are creatures of nature. They're creatures of habit. Routines stick. And patterns, end up repeating. And so that's much more likely, Travis. That's my take on that. We can play the hypotheticals all day, but odds are it's never going to happen. Hey, we got super chat. Fernando, happy Friday. Go buy a floppy taco. I may just do that. Only with ground beef, though. Only with ground beef and liquid cheese, dude. You guys don't know Fernando. Fernando likes the authentic Mexican. They don't like the ground beef and all that like all the liquid cheese and all that stuff. they're all for the higher quality meats and not all that BS we put on it here in the US. So we always give each other crap on that. Let's see. Do I think 151 UPC will stay flat around 400 like Celebrations? Is it a way better set, but the price point of 400 seems to be a ceiling for many years? Yeah, so Pokemania, like I said, there are going to be some questions I don't know the answers to. This is one of them. I truly don't know. So personally, I'm going to go ahead and be completely honest. I did sell off some, not all, not a ton, but I did make a couple of transactions, whether they were trades or just sells and package deals of some of my 151 UPCs, because I actually went through that with Celebrations. So I had 20 Celebrations UPCs that I sat on probably longer than I should have, because they were $400 almost immediately after I bought them. I bought them and like 3 or 6 months later, they were already $400. I could have taken that money 4 years ago, not 3 years ago, and done other things with it. Instead, I sat on some of my Celebrations UPCs. I still have them, and they've moved very little to nothing. And honestly, like, they've been one of my worst performing investments. And so, yeah, I'm unsure if there's kind of a cap on some of these UPCs. You're already seeing kind of the Charizard UPC kind of been stagnant for a while. It does seem there's caps more on these than there are booster boxes. So it's definitely something to take into consideration. But the problem is, sometimes outliers can happen, and the 151 could just boom, and the Mew and the Mewtwo card in there could go crazy, and it's impossible to tell. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Been thinking the same thing, and I don't have a good answer, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, dude, I'm so glad you mentioned this. Me and my friend were talking about this. Dude, okay. Love Rudy. Nothing but respect for Rudy. A lot of why I started investing in cardboard is because of Rudy. That was a hot take. Like, that's not going to happen. Put it this way. If that happens, I just quit making any of my own decisions, any of my own predictions. I will just mimic every single thing he says forever. If somehow he is right about that, in my opinion, though, no way, no how. If Evolving Skies is probably about to go on another run now that Fusion Strike ran up, because now Evolving Skies will look undervalued again. No way. No way, in my opinion. That was a hot take. Do I think booster bundles are worth buying? Yes. I think booster bundles are going to be another staple item. I think bundles, and then with specialty sets, ETBs, and then booster boxes. I truly think bundles are good. They've proven to be very liquid. People love them. They're better than buying, in my opinion, collection boxes, tins, things like that. Why are Charizard sets so weak? I'm not a huge fan, but it's funny. There's always seems to be one that'll never do well. It does kind of seem like that, doesn't it? You got Burning Shadows, you got Darkness, you got Obsidian, you got Champion's Path, you've got Shining Fates, and you got Brilliant Stars, which Brilliant Stars is starting to do decent. Evolutions did really good. Flashfire did really good. It seems that everything after XY, Charizard stopped being as loved. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Maybe they print those sets heavier because it's got Charizard. Maybe. Dude, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Obsidian's doing really well. Obsidian is one of the most expensive boxes in the era. We'll see if that continues. And so we'll see. But yeah, I would say more lately have been weak than strong. But then again, now that I say that, Paldean Fates, 151, those are other things going for it, but they do have Charizards as well. I don't know, man. I don't really know. Have you seen Plumber take credit for your success? Plumber take credit for my success? Wait, you mean the guy that I brought on my channel of almost 30,000 subscribers and said, you want to have a podcast with me, before he even had a YouTube channel? And then he started a YouTube channel that he promoted on my channel that basically just tried to, snipe and bring over a lot of the viewers here to grow his own, and now jumped on Cool Trainer Ryan's dick the same way that Cool Trainer Ryan jumped on Pokey's Rev's dick to grow? That guy? Yeah. All the credit in the world, my man. All the credit in the world. You got it. Which Sun and Moon tag team would you say is a good value buy right now, despite its boom in price recently, and can confidently see it go up more in the future? I don't know, man. Probably if I had to pick one, I'd say Cosmic Eclipse. I'll say Cosmic Eclipse. That's the one that kind of stands out to me. It's my favorite set. No, Hydus, I don't watch Anon, but we'll see. He was looking at like Black and White being a final set. Yeah, so guys, this has already been released on Pokey Beach. Okay. Let me see if I can pull it up. So this isn't like new news. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. So anyway, I can't find it off the top of my head, but yeah, Pokey Beach released an article basically claiming that it was going to be the last set, and that's where like these YouTubers are picking it up from. And so yeah, I mean, it's just look, I can't remember a time Pokey Beach has really been wrong much. So I'm just inclined to believe it. And so yeah, I would say it's likely that's the case. Bought a case of Fusion Strike like for 3K 2 weeks ago. Nice. Bought a case of Brilliant on Monday for 2K. Nice. It hasn't even arrived in the mail yet, and I'm up $140 per box. So it's so funny. I've done the same thing, and yeah, I bought 2 cases of Fusion recently. Did the same thing. It reminds me of the last time this happened to me. It was back during Sun and Moon, and I remember buying cases of Burning Shadows. And Burning Shadows did the same thing. I bought 2 cases of Burning Shadows. By the time it arrived to my door, it was already up like 15%. And so it's crazy how markets can swing like that. But man, when things get hot, they get hot. And so yeah, hey, Zach, congrats, dude. Love to hear it. Love your head. It's Cosmic. Yeah, Daniel, it's Cosmic Eclipse. That is still my favorite set. The reason I like it so much is even like the regular tag teams, like the regular GXs, even those are hits in my opinion. They're so gorgeous. You know, it's got the character gallery. It's got some of the best tag teams, some of the best rainbows. Like I don't like a ton of rainbow cards. It's got some of the best rainbows with with the who is it? The Lord N, and also like this is the Lily. But those are I just think that set's gorgeous. How do I think Destin Rivals perform in a couple of years? It's hard to tell. A couple of years is kind of still in its like printing life cycle. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. I think it'll honestly, you want my honest opinion? There's a good chance it's a similar price that this is right now. That could be a hot take. There's a chance that Destin Rivals is like $300-$400 a box. There's also a chance it's still like around the same price it is right now. Maybe it comes out of the gate, drops. Maybe it kind of comes back, goes stagnant. Maybe it gets a reprint, drops some more. Maybe it roars back. Maybe it gets more printing later on. In 2 years, it might still be 250, 300. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe maybe it just never slows down and we go to the moon. I'm not sure. I'm really not. I'm really not. Hey, we got Pokey Gaga. Hey man, you didn't have to do a super chat. I took this question, dude. I'm sorry, man. I appreciate you super chatting though. Thank you so much for the support, dude. Yeah, I gave my take on that. I think it's a little far fetched, but we'll see what happens. Like I think Evolving Skies is gonna remain top dog. Like I know what Rudy's saying. Like there have been sets that have like not been the highest value set, and they have like outperformed other sets that were at one point. I don't think this is one of those times. I don't think this is one of those times. Love the content, pure honesty. I appreciate you, dude. Question: what would you estimate the price of Prismatic Evolutions in 5 years? 5 years? 5 years? 500? 5 years? 500. See, that's a serious take. I'm dead serious. You know, I can't give a high like percentage on how that's going to happen. If we get through the next year and a half and we don't get any just unsurmountable reprints on ETBs and they stay relatively high and relatively scarce, I think that's possible. I really do. It all depends on kind of how much printing comes out, but like I said, there's no other set with that amount of value in a single pack. Like very few sets in the entire existence of Pokemon where you can pull a set worth pull a pack worth multiple thousands of dollars. It just doesn't exist outside of like the top cards in the hobby. And so, yeah, it's crazy. I would rather have, I really wouldn't mind. Adam, it depends on the price point. Whatever price point makes better sense. You know, here's the thing right now. If you can pick ETBs up, which you can in some cases, at the same price per pack as booster bundles. So let me explain how this would look. Okay. If an ETB is 115 divided by 9 packs, that's $12.77 a pack, right? Well, $12.77 times 6, that would make booster bundle 76. So hypothetically, if a booster bundle is $76 and an ETB is 115, you buy the ETB all day, every day, twice on Sunday. The only time the bundle makes more sense is if the price per pack is lower and you just don't really value the promo card as high as others do or something. You don't think the promo card is going to hold up. But if the price per pack is anywhere close, I would always rather have an ETB. I think it's more collectible. I'd rather have the promo card. It's always going to be worth something. It's an EV. It's always going to be valuable. And you get 9 packs, which is price per pack, same thing. So that's my opinion on that. Just depends on the price points. If I want to start streaming Whatnot or a different platform, I mean, it's hard, but yeah, Whatnot's probably your best bet, unfortunately. Everything else is gate kept except TikTok, but you know, they're rough too. So yeah, it's rough, man. It's rough. I guess Whatnot's probably your option. What are the chances, once again, with the new era, people will complain and hate it, just like every other era? I doubt it happens this time, but would like to hear your take. I'm sure it will. People are building up ready to hate something. They want to hate something so bad. They wanted to hate the next set after Destin, right? People are they are like overwhelmingly needing something to hate on. And so, you know, they're really trying to hate on Journey Together right now. As soon as we get anywhere near a set that could be perceived as lackluster, we will have enormous amounts of hate. Yeah, I think people are fed up with the hype, fed up with the run. And, you know, like I said, people need something to complain about. That's what keeps the world running. You know, if we didn't have people going to work complaining about their jobs, complaining about their bosses, complaining about politicians, complaining about prices of things, complaining about availability, complaining about their weekends, complaining about their spouses, complaining about their family, complaining about their friends, you know, playing Call of Duty and complaining about how someone on there is cheating them. Like, dude, people just have to complain about something. It's how those kind of people run their lives. And it's sad, but it's not going to change. It's not going to change. Where would you be comfortable buying Surging Sparks booster boxes? I don't know. There is a supposed reprint coming right now of Surging and Stellar Crown. We don't know if it's booster boxes, bundles, ETBs, whatever. Maybe see how that goes, see where it drops to. I don't know. My gut kind of tells me $200 seems good. But like, don't go all in. And then if you have to buy more, if it drops like down to 180, 160, you can dollar cost average in. But there's no doubt in my mind, Surging Sparks is going to be one of the top sets in this era. It's just the way it's going to be. And so when you look at other eras, when you go look at Sword and Shield, well, it's not going to be Evolving Skies level, in my opinion, but Lost Origin, Fusion Strike, I mean, I think it's going to be up there. And so, you know, if you're comfortable buying in and possibly being down or up and down on your money for a little period of time, do I think it's going to be a $400 or $500 box in probably 2 or 3 years? Yeah, I do. So that's my opinion. Alex, you don't sound like any other YouTuber. Everything you say makes so much sense. I only listen to you now. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Look, here, you know what? I'll tell you why. There's a very good reason why I don't sound like the other PokeTubers. I'll tell you right now. I don't watch them. I just don't watch it. I made that decision a while ago. It's why I probably don't like mimic a lot of the points other people make because I just don't watch it. People will send me clips so people say about me here or there, and I'll watch a few minutes here or there. I'll definitely watch some Pokey. I'll watch some of my friends' content. Like I'll show up for a retro live stream or a Dan Catch 'em All Collectibles live stream here or there. But for I watch Alpha Investments. Like I don't watch a lot of people in this space. I watch business content. I watch entrepreneur content. I watch, market finance content. I get a broad picture of like what's going on in like the real world. And I bring that to the Pokemon world. It's why I bring people on like Steve, like Amit, who are like out there in the financial world, because I don't want to get too deep in the monotony of the emotions and the anger and, the takes of a bunch of people who are just, kind of here to make content, right? I'm here to make content, but I'm also here to run a business. I'm also here to invest. I'm also here to make everyone here that watches me better at run, whatever they want to do. If they're running a business, they're wanting to invest themselves. And so my content is not going to be for everybody. I'm probably not going to be the right person for somebody who's like a pure collector and doesn't like any talks of money or their things having value. But that's kind of one of the reasons is I don't like try to be different. I just I don't fit into the kind of like the Pokey world. I don't fit in with a lot of the groups here because I just don't like think the same way. I don't enjoy the same things. And I don't share a lot of the same beliefs and opinions, which is probably why I butt heads with a lot of people. So for better or worse. Hey, Maximum Effort. What's up? Alex, your take on Sun and Moon on broken bonds. It was great a few months ago, wasn't it? It's still a great set. It's going to be fine long term, like as far as holding value. I think we just missed a huge move. I don't like to buy things after they just moved up a significant amount very quickly. But I also don't think it's going to crash. So if you're just wanting it for your collection, fine, pick it up. If you're thinking like, oh, just purely an investment, probably better things right now. How long did it take to offload Japanese 151? I haven't offloaded it. I've opened up a case and I've been selling it on stream, and I've gave away a couple of boxes like on my random box giveaway nights. But no, I still have all the other cases. I just opened one. I haven't blown out. What do we got going on? Yeah, Steve's the guy with the spreadsheet with all the booster boxes. Yeah, he does stocks. He writes for Seeking Alpha. If you guys know who that is, that publication, he writes for Seeking Alpha, has a very good following on there. He actually does very well on there. And then he also has a job in finance as well. So he's pretty knowledgeable about markets, which is why and those are the kind of people I like talking to outside of Pokemon because it just gives different perspectives. And look, you're never going to agree with everyone you talk to and every take everyone has, but you have to get outside perspectives to like help mold the way you see markets, because it's going to make you better overall than just like staying, only in your view or only in the hobby view, only listen to PokeTubers. Cause here's the thing. Everyone's got an agenda. Everyone's trying to sell you something, right? Whether it be entertainment, whether it be, business selling packs or things. Well, they're trying to sell you fear, trying to sell opportunity, whatever it may be. And so, that's why I try to stay away from a lot of the hobby right now. Everyone's trying to sell fear. It's all fear. Everything's going to crash. Everything's going to get reprinted into the ground. Everyone's going to lose money. It's like, it's all fear right now. And I like to stay optimistic in life. I don't like to live pessimistic. Kind of plan for the worst or prepare for the worst, plan for the best. If the worst happens, you find ways to maneuver around it. You pivot. But I don't live in a state of fear in my life. There's an old saying, guys. There's an old saying. And I want you to really think about this. This is an old saying, and it holds deep meaning, okay? It's much easier to sound smart and be a bear than it is to just be dumb and be a bull, right? A smart bear sounds wise. A dumb bull makes money. And it's not saying that people who are bullish are dumb, but everyone perceives them as dumb. Because whenever you're optimistic about a market, especially when it's running, it's so easy to like make content and try to poke holes, right? And try to like take little data points that you can like mold to make it fit your agenda. And you can, sound very smart and very, very intellectual. And, you can talk about all these different points and these different things that sort of mimic what's going on here, but not really. And it's much easier to sound smart. But the people who make money are the bulls. I said it before. It doesn't matter if you bought in the height, the absolute peak of any bull market in the entire past of the stock market or the Pokemon market right now. You're up money still. If you guys, let me clue you in on something. If you bought in the peak of the Great Depression before it crashed, you still made money if you held. If you bought in the peak of the savings and loans crisis in the 80s, you still made money. If you bought in the peak of the, Y2K.com bubble era, you still made money. If you bought in the peak of 08, you still made money. Pokemon market or crypto, right? You bought when Bitcoin hit 20K and then dropped to 4. You made money if you held. You bought when Bitcoin hit 60K and dropped. You still made money if you held. Pokemon market, right? If you would have held Team Up back when it pumped to $700 during the boom, it dropped, came back, you made exponential amounts of money. If you hold investments long-term, you make money. But all the intellectual bears will have you believe all this fear, and they'll come up with all these reasons why you're stupid and why not to hold, why not to invest, why to be fearful. And those people never make as much as the bullish people do that have the stones to hold through the ups and the downs and keep investing and keep holding. So that's what the data has always showed us. I'd rather go with infinite amounts of data than hypothetical of the whole world's going to collapse type thing, right? It's just not, it's not pragmatic. I'm going to try and zero out my earnings by making purchases every year. Finally, when I decide to sell, and I'll pay my taxes on the profit. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Hawklug. Yeah, that's a good way to go about it. Thoughts on Team Rocket Joey? I really don't have thoughts on the guy. He's a content creator. He's saying what he has to do to get views. I have friends. I have friends that are content creators that I don't agree with the content they make, right? And so, I'm definitely not friends with Team Rocket Joey, but he's making the kind of content that gets people to click and gets people to watch, and it also plays into their emotional state right now in the hobby, right? I can do the same thing. It's very easy. Everyone's upset with distributors. Everyone's upset with store owners. Everyone's upset about prices. They're upset about prices being high. It's very easy to pander to that audience and get views and get a bunch of nice, fluffy comments with everyone agreeing with you. And I'm just not going to do that because I don't believe in it. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's correct. And so, yeah, I mean, I know he uses my name and my face in his thumbnails and my name in his titles, and he talks about me. And hey, man, more power to him. Like I said, I'm really not against content creators, right? It's their prerogative. It's the way they want to build their channel. Now, if you're building your entire channel off like drama and attacking people, I don't think it's the greatest longevity play. But hey, that's to each their own. But I'm not gonna say anything bad about him. Have at it. Alex, if the world explodes, it all ends. Will you admit Pokemon finally collapsed? I will. I will admit it on my deathbed as I die in the rubble of the Empire. Oh, man. What do we got in here? What do we got? Why doesn't Pokemon sell exclusively through Pokemon Center? With pricing tiers, the allocated shops No more MJ Holdings, GTS, Southern, etc. I don't know. I don't know, but the same issues would arise, right? I mean, yeah, maybe you could say that they wouldn't be holding product back, but you would still have allocation issues, right? The people who are able to spend the most would get the most, right? Here's the problem, guys. Card shops that refuse to pivot and understand that landscape has changed, and they are not going to devote their resources to growing their online presence and online sales, or they're not going to stream, or they refuse to do anything else but stay a local card shop, they're not going to do well. They're not going to get high enough allocations. It's just simple math, guys. You cannot sell enough product in a specific location than someone can online. If people are selling so much more product online and they're able to take all the BS distributors want to peddle again and again and again, distributors are going to reward the people who took all the BS product and bought when no one else wanted to. The people who bought Paradox Rift when they were blowing it out at like $84 a box and nobody wanted it. All the local card shops said, no, we have enough. We can't move it. All the people who were wanting to build allocation said, yeah, give me it. I'll take it. I don't care if I can't sell it. I'll sit on it. They built up their allocation, their spend, because they're selling it to a large audience online. And it would be that way either way, right? It happens that way in business, guys. Why do you think Walmart has cheaper prices than your local grocery store? Because they're able to buy in bulk. They're able to take more quantity. And so if you're able to move larger quantities, you're going to get better treatment from whoever's selling to you. I'm sure Pokemon would have a similar system if they did the same thing. And so it's the changing landscape of the world. Again, instead of complain or be mad at it, you need to find a way to play into it if you want to remain in business, if you want to be competitive. That's my take. You got to pivot, guys. Life, the only thing certain in life is it's going to change. Life will always change. I feel like Anon talks shit about NN all the time. They would not get along, but everyone does that, right? Like, I am just it's very easy to make content about me because, again, I'm going to have counter views to a lot of people in the hobby. And like I said, the majority of people are all going to be just like complainers and whiners. And that's what they can pander to that audience, put my face on it and say, this guy bad, me good, and give reasons why. And people eat it up. They watch it, they comment about it, they tell them how bad I am. And it's a great way to get views and grow. So like, I can't be that upset at these people. At the same time, I'm not going to give them the time of day. I'm not going to invite them on my platform. I'm not going to like interact with them, right? I'm not friends with them, but I'm also not going to like hate on them because they're just doing what it takes to grow on YouTube. I get it. There's a difference between understanding it and like being friends or inviting them on. I'm not going to do that, but I'm also not going to sit here and be like, they shouldn't talk bad about me. It's like, I don't care. Just don't. It's that whole thing. It's just like people want to trash you, and then they want you to respond or invite them on, or like they want it to lead to something. It's like, no, dude. Like if that's the route you want to go ahead and trash me, but don't then ask me for something. Like don't then reach out to me. I'm not gonna give you the time of day, brother. Yeah, the half booster boxes. I wonder. I do wonder how that'll be. It's kind of in between a bundle and a booster box. It'll be interesting. I think they can do well. Here's one thing I've realized in this hobby, guys. People love. Hold on. Let me get a pack. What box do I have here? Okay. So, simply having cardboard wrapped in plastic is not enough. People love it when you have cardboard wrapped in plastic, wrapped in more cardboard, wrapped in more plastic. And then when you put it in a sealed case and you wrap it in more cardboard and you put stop tape that you can buy at any Uline around it, then people feel very secure with it. And so if there's one thing true about this hobby, the more times you can wrap cardboard and plastic around things, the more people like it. That's my take. Again, you don't have to agree with the insanity. You just have to play into it. That's all it comes down to, guys. Oh, man. Turbo. Paldea Evolve Booster Box price prediction next year. 1 year from now, $350 a box. That's it. That's it. All right, guys. We've been going for a while now. I gotta get off and actually get some work done, unfortunately. I wanted to jump on and just kind of chat with you guys a while. I will stay on for another few minutes, answer a few last questions. But I really appreciate you guys showing up and hanging out during the day today. Hope you guys are having a great Friday. Hope you have a fantastic weekend, by the way. Maximum Effort, $20 super chat, dude. Thank you so much. Love the content you produce. Probably have watched almost every video you've made. Wow. Question about Unbroken Bonds. I bought it for $400 and still have it. Is it time to sell? Man, first of all, congratulations on the hold. That's awesome. Should you sell? So, Maximum Effort, I can't tell you that. One thing I can tell you is, in my opinion, it seems some of these boxes are getting to price points where they may start to slow their growth and see times of stagnation. I don't think it's going to crash. I don't think you need to be scared of holding it. But if you have something else you need the capital for, you think it's going to perform better, maybe a good time to sell. Understand one thing. Unless you have someone that'll buy it from you at full market value, you're probably either going to take a discount selling it on Facebook or Instagram or Discord, or you're going to pay fees selling it on eBay or TCG Player or through consignment. And so you have to remember, you're only going to have what's left after the fees. So you're going to have to make up what the fees were or the discount you gave on the new investment on top of performing better. That's why a lot of investors don't sell a lot, because they know there's a cost to making transactions. There's a cost to selling. There's a cost to shipping, right? There's a cost to buying and spending time going and buying something new. And so if you think you can do better than all those things with a new item, have at it. If not, hey, maybe hold longer. I don't know. That's my advice though, man. What else we got? Did we have another super chat down here, I think? Let me see. Yeah, we did. Tyranids, what's up, dude? When will NN switch to focus on Gooner Weeb TCGs? Does that mean the Nikki set from Weiss Schwartz? I did just pre-order some of the reprint of the Nikki set. Is that a Gooner Weeb TCG? If so, I have started to focus on some of those. I have, man. You can't say I haven't. Oh, guys, this was a great day. Really appreciate you guys showing up. Have a fantastic rest of your afternoon. And as always, guys, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for the random pack break. And I'll have a video coming out tomorrow morning. It'll be a good one to check out. It talks about some of the points I made here. Hope it helps. And hope the content all continues to help you guys out. That's all I got, guys. We're out.